Is your dog feeling lonely? Find out now. Dogs, just like humans, can experience feelings of loneliness and isolation. It's not always easy to tell, but there are some signs you can look out for. Ever wondered if your furry friend is feeling a bit down in the dumps? Maybe they're not as excited to see you when you come home, or perhaps they're not interested in their favorite toys anymore. Like, maybe they're just laying around, staring at the wall, contemplating the existential dread of being a dog left alone all day. Dogs can get bored and lonely, especially if they're left alone for long periods. Don't worry, fam, we've all been there. It's a common issue, and there are ways to help your dog feel more connected and happy. Except, we weren't the ones with the existential dread because we understand human words. But dogs, they rely on us to interpret their feelings and needs. Anyway, today we're diving deep into the canine psyche to figure out if your precious pupperoni is actually lonely. We'll explore the signs and symptoms of doggy loneliness and what you can do to help. We're talking all the telltale signs, from barking up a storm to turning into a professional couch potato. Dogs might also show signs of anxiety, such as pacing or destructive behavior. All this with some super upbeat background music that makes you want to dance. Let's do this! By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of your dog's emotional needs and how to keep them happy and engaged. Excessive barking. Is your dog trying to phone a friend? It might sound silly, but sometimes it feels like our furry friends are trying to communicate with us in the most unexpected ways. Barking is one of the primary ways dogs express themselves, and while it can be cute or amusing at times, excessive barking can be a sign of something more. Okay, so your dog might be a chatterbox. We get it. Some dogs are just naturally more vocal than others. They might bark when they're happy, excited, or even just to get your attention. It's their way of saying, "Hey, look at me," or "Come play with me." Some dogs just like the sound of their own voice, kind of like that one friend we all have. You know the one. The friend who always has a story to tell no matter the time or place. Dogs can be the same way, using their barks to narrate their day or express their feelings. But if your usually chill pup turns into a barking machine the second you step out the door, they might be trying to tell you something. This sudden change in behavior can be a sign of separation anxiety. Dogs are social animals, and they can feel stressed or anxious when left alone. And no, they're not just practicing their opera skills for the next time the mailman walks by. Although it might seem like they're gearing up for a grand performance, there's usually a deeper reason behind their vocalizations. Although, wouldn't that be something? Imagine your dog hitting those high notes, impressing the neighbors with their unexpected talent. It would certainly make mail delivery a lot more entertaining. Picture it, Pavarotti the pug, belting out high notes every time the mail arrives. Okay, maybe not, but it's a fun thought, isn't it? In reality though, excessive barking can be a sign of underlying issues that need to be addressed. But seriously, excessive barking can be a sign your doggo is feeling a little abandoned. They might be lonely, anxious, or even bored. It's important to pay attention to these signs and understand what your dog is trying to communicate. After all, they're not just barking for the sake of it. They're trying to tell you something important. Destructive behavior. Did a tiny tornado tear through your house? We've all been there. You leave for work, the grocery store, or even just a quick errand, and when you return, it looks like a mini cyclone has wreaked havoc in your living space. You come home from a long day, ready to cuddle with your fur ball, and bam! The excitement of seeing your furry friend quickly turns into shock and dismay. It looks like a scene straight out of Twister exploded in your living room. Furniture overturned, cushions scattered, and your once neat and tidy home now looks like a disaster zone. Pillows murdered, shoes massacred, the dog bed looking like it went through a paper shredder. It's a sight that would make any pet owner cringe. Before you stage an intervention with your dog's chew toys, remember, this could be a sign of separation anxiety. Dogs are social animals, and being left alone can be really stressful for them. They're not just being jerks, well, maybe a little. They're stressed out. This destructive behavior is often a cry for help. They miss you and don't know how to cope with the loneliness. So next time you come home to a mess, take a deep breath and consider what your furry friend might be going through. There are ways to help them feel more secure and less anxious when you're not around. Pacing or restlessness. Is your dog waiting for the dog park express? Ever notice your dog pacing back and forth like they're waiting for a bus that never comes? No, they're not suddenly training for the Iditarod. This anxious behavior, my friends, is another sign of loneliness. They're bored, they're restless, and they miss their favorite human. That's you, by the way. Time to break out the squeaky toys and give them some attention. Loss of appetite. Did someone switch out their steak for salad? Food, glorious food. It's the way to any dog's heart, right? So when your furry garbage disposal suddenly turns their nose up at their favorite treats, you know something's up. It's like they looked at a juicy steak and said, "Nah, I'll just have a kale smoothie." What is this madness? Well, my friend, it could be loneliness. When dogs are feeling down, they might not be as interested in their usual culinary delights. Okay, we all love a good nap. But when your dog starts sleeping more than a cat in a sunbeam, it might be time to raise an eyebrow. I mean, have they achieved peak laziness, or are they just really bummed out? Loneliness can lead to lethargy, and lethargy leads to excessive napping. It's a vicious cycle, people. Remember that super clingy friend who followed you everywhere in high school? Well, now you have a furry version. If your dog suddenly turns into your shadow, constantly underfoot, it's their way of saying, "Please don't leave me, I'll watch you pee if I have to." It's cute, but also a sign they might be feeling a little insecure. Listen, we've all had those days where we rock the "I woke up like this" look. But if your usually well-groomed pup starts looking like they just lost a fight with a hairbrush, it might be cause for concern. Loneliness can lead to dogs neglecting their self-care routine. Think of it as the canine equivalent of wearing sweatpants 3 days in a row. So there you have it, the telltale signs of a lonely doggo. Remember, our furry friends rely on us for love, attention, and the occasional belly rub. So if you think your pup might be feeling a little blue, shower them with affection and maybe a new chew toy or two. And hey, if you want more awesome tips on how to keep your dog happy and entertained, make sure to click that video right there. Trust me, it's pawsome.